Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. My next Bob's pick for this Christmas Eve isn't one that immediately pops to mind when you're thinking about a holiday film, but his story does begin on a Christmas Eve and closes on Christmas Eve as well. And there are enough Christmas trees and wreaths in the backgrounds of its formidable sets to, I think, justify our showing it tonight. It's a movie from 1944 starring Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon called Mrs. Parkington, not to be confused with the movie that Bette Davis and Claude Rains made that same year of 1944 called Mr. Skeffington. Those two movies confusing people for years, especially when both Greer and Bette were nominated for the Best Actress Academy Award in that same year of 1944. This movie about Mrs. Parkington is one of the many films co-starring Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon during their reign as one of the most popular movie teams of the 1940s. The story itself comes from a best-selling novel by Louis Bromfield, a rags-to-riches tale that takes Greer Garson from working in a boarding house in Nevada in the 1870s to living in a mansion in New York City amid high society circles as the wife of an adventurer who's also quite a scoundrel and a great womanizer. Greer, with the help of makeup man Jack Dawn, ages some 60 years during the course of the movie. Greer being 40 at the time, but for this role was required to go from playing an 18-year-old girl all the way to being convincing as a lady of 84. It's a film that also boasts a dazzling lineup of character actors in supporting roles. There's Edward Arnold, there's Gladys Cooper, Agnes Moorehead among them, along with a very interesting crop of relative newcomers at the time. Peter Lawford, Dan Duryea, Rod Cameron, Francis Rafferty, and Tom Drake. Tom going from this film right into playing the boy next door, so adored by Judy Garland in Meet Me in St. Louis. Here from 1944, the story of Major Augustus Parkington, but especially it's about his wife, Susie, more formally known as Mrs. Parkington.